Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to explore about chapter 14, sources of energy, subtopics 14.3, 14.4 and 14.5. Let me first introduce the topics covered in this video. 14.3 Alternative or non-conventional source of energy. 14.4 Environmental consequences. 14.5 How long will an energy source last us? So without wasting any time, let's get started. Children, can you imagine a car that runs on water or using solar power? Well, the truth is, you might have to get used to such wacky ideas with technological progress or demand for energy increases day by day. The planet is rapidly running out of conventional fuels. Is there any alternative method to tackle this energy demand? Yes, that's what non-conventional energy sources are doing for us. They are becoming our future. In order to operate them, let us learn more about non-conventional source of energy. The sources of energy which are being produced continuously in nature and are inexhaustible are called non-conventional sources or renewable sources of energy. The various forms of non-conventional sources and renewable sources options are solar power, wind power, hydropower, geothermal power, and bioenergy. Let's understand one by one in detail. First, solar energy. Solar energy is harnessed by converting solar energy directly into electrical energy in solar plants. Solar energy is an essential energy of all non-conventional sources, but its usage amount is very less. It is non-polluting, environmental friendly, and also available abundantly. How can we use solar energy as useful energy? Here is the first step, that is solar cooker, a device which uses the energy of direct sunlight to heat, cook or pasteurize drink and other food material. That's what called as solar cooker. There are four types of solar cooker: panel cookers, box cookers, parabolic cookers and tube cooker. Here you can see the pictures of all those cookers, and here we are going to discuss about solar cooker, that is box type solar cooker in detail. At this moment, I hope you can see a box type solar cooker, right? Look at that closely. It is like a hot box in which a food is cooked. It is the most commonly used model for household cooking. It's also called as solar oven. Let's see its construction first. It consists of a box, that is an insulated metal or wooden box. It is painted black from inside because black surface absorbs more heat. A glass cover made up of two sheets of toughened glass held together in an aluminium frame is used as a cover of the box. A plane or a concave mirror reflectors are used and attached to the box with the help of hinges. The mirror can be positioned at any desired angle to the box. A set of cooking containers made up of aluminium is blackened from outside or kept in the box. Now let's see the working. When the box type cooker with a glass cover is placed in front of sunlight, the reflectors will reflect light and concentrate it on the glass sheet. The glass sheet traps the heat and cooks the food. Next, solar panels. Solar panels are the devices that convert light into electricity. Here light source used is the solar light or sunlight. But some scientists call them as photovoltaics, which means light electricity. Children, here you can see the different types or the different parts of a solar panel. The first one is solar cell, and the collection of that is solar module, and collection of solar module is nothing but a solar panel. And here also you can see how a solar panel is made. They are basically made up of silicon, that is nothing but a semiconductor. Let's see how it's work. A silicon semiconductor is being used in order to produce a solar panel. It has an atomic number 14 and has the ability to convert sunlight into electricity. When light interacts with a silicon cell, it causes electrons to be set into motion, which initiates a flow of electricity. This is known as photovoltaic effect. Hope the picture explains you the same. Solar cells are portable, durable, and maintenance cost is less. It was discovered in the year 1950 and it's first used in communication satellite. Let's see some of its applications for different purposes. It is used in transportation, calculators, remote lighting system, water pumping, water treatment, emergency power, portable power supplies and electric fences and so on. So here you can see some of the applications of that. Next, energy from sea. Ocean can produce two types of energy, thermal energy and mechanical energy. Thermal energy is from sun's heat. Mechanical energy is from tides and waves. Oceans cover more than 70% of Earth's surface, making them the world's largest solar collectors. The sun's heat warms the surface of water a lot more than the deep ocean water, and this temperature difference creates thermal energy. Just a small portion of heat trapped in the ocean could produce a large amount of power to the world. First, let's explore about tidal energy. Children, do you know how a tide is formed? Let's understand by this picture. Tides are caused by the gravitational interaction between the Earth and the Moon. Isaac Newton was the first person to explain tides scientifically. The gravitation attraction of the moon causes the ocean to bulge out in the direction of the moon. They form as high and low tides. Tidal energy is produced through the use of tidal energy generators. These large water turbines are placed in the areas with high tidal movements and are designed to capture the kinetic motion of the water and then surging that ocean tides in order to produce electricity. Hope you can see the picture of that, how it has been generated. The next one is wave energy. How waves are formed? Any guesses? Waves are most commonly caused by wind. Wind-driven waves or surface waves are created by the friction between wind and surface water. As wind blows across the surface of the ocean or lake, the continual disturbance creates a wave crest. Let's see how it works to produce electricity. The most common technology used is float systems that rely on rise and fall of swells to drive hydraulic pumps. As the waves move, they will flux and bend as wave pass, produce a movement in the wave energy converter, the turbine that converts kinetic energy into electrical energy. Here you can see the picture of how a wave energy is generated by floating tubes. Lastly, OTEC, which stands for Ocean Thermal Energy Conversion. OTE is ocean thermal energy. The energy available due to the difference in the temperature of water at the surface of the ocean and at the deeper levels is called ocean thermal energy. The devices used to harness OTE is called as OTEC power plant. Let's see how it works. An OTEC power plant works by pulling in warm ocean surface water and is used to heat a working fluid such as ammonia or propane into a gas. These fluids have a low boiling temperature which when turned into gas moves the steam into pressurized shaft that are then used to drive turbines, and the turbines then drive the generator which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. That's what all about OTEC. The next one is geothermal energy. Geo means earth, thermal means heat. That is heat that comes from the subsurface of the earth. It is contained in rocks and fluids beneath the Earth's crust and can be found as far down to the Earth's hot molten rock or magma. Geothermal power plant use steam to produce electricity. The steam comes from the reservoirs of the hot water found a few miles or more below the Earth's surface. The steam rotates the turbines that activates the generator which produces electricity. That's how a geothermal power plant works. Here you can see the picture of how a geothermal energy is converted into electrical energy. Next, nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is the energy that holds together the nucleus of the atoms. Nuclear power is the use of nuclear reactions that release nuclear energy to generate heat, which most frequently is then used in steam turbines to produce electricity in a nuclear power plant. Nuclear reactors are the heart of nuclear power plant. The reactors use uranium for nuclear fuel. Uranium is processed into small ceramic pellets and stacked together into sealed metal tubes called fuel rods. Inside the nuclear vessel, the fuel rods are immersed in water which acts as both coolant and moderator. This helps to slow down the neutrons produced by fission to sustain the chain reaction. Control rods can be then inserted into the reactor core to reduce the reaction rate or withdrawn to increase it. The heat created by the fission turns the water into steam which spins a turbine to produce carbon-free electricity. This is how a nuclear reactor works. Next, nuclear fission. Nuclear fission is a process of an unstable atom splits into two or more smaller pieces that are more stable and releases energy in the process. The fission process also releases extra neutrons which can then split into additional atom, resulting in chain reaction that releases a lot of energy. Yes, the picture explains you the same. Chain reaction. What is a chain reaction? Chain reaction is a self-sustaining series of reaction. A self-sustaining reaction that once started continues without further outside influence. Here you can see a uranium-235 atom observes a neutron during fission process and splits into two fission fragments, releasing two new neutrons, a large amount of binding energy, and the process continues to repeat continuously as a chain reaction. Nuclear fusion is the process of making a single heavy nucleus from two lighter nuclei. This releases a lots of energy, and this energy powers the heat and light of the star. For example, here you can see a deuterium combined with tritium creating helium, freeing a neutron and releasing energy. Next, environmental consequences. Environmental consequences are concerned with the impact on the environment of various types of product releases. Environment is disturbed whenever a source of energy is used to derive energy from it. Construction of dams destroys large ecosystem and creates problem of rehabilitation of displaced population. Burning of fossil fuels cause air pollution. Continuous whistling of windmills cause noise pollution and plays a very dangerous role for the migratory birds. Heavy energy structures to exploit wave energy affect the marine life. Usage of wood as a fuel results in deforestation, which affects environment. In some cases, the actual operation of a device like the solar cells may be pollution free, but the assembly of the device would have caused some environmental damage. So, one can conclude that no energy source is pollution free. Next, how long will an energy source last us? Well, we can split our discussions in two directions. We first talk about how long a renewable energy source will last us. The energy from the sun, the movement of the waves, and the flow of water, these are all some of the activities that have been happening over millions of years and will continue to happen in the future also. They are constant and reliable source. The solar energy, tidal energy, wind energy, hydroelectric energy, even geothermal energy will never get exhausted as they can be generated at the same rate at which they are being used. When we talk about the non-renewable energy source, they are limited in quantity. They cannot be renewed easily once they are depleted. They take thousands of years to be formed. At the present rate of consumption, these resources will get exhausted in less than 100 years. It is important to use non-renewable energy resources in a judicious manner and switch on to the renewable resources to protect consumers. When fossil fuels prices spikes and to decrease the current levels of greenhouse emissions to make a positive environmental impact for our entire planet. Otherwise, our future generations will be left with none of them or any of them. So just conserve energy. Okay, that's it about all this video.